The Senate voted last night to advance a bipartisan bill championed by the late Senator Lindsey Graham that imposes sanctions on Russia and some new penalties against Iran. The vote was 86-12, with nearly all Republicans and a majority of Democrats supporting the measure, pushing it well beyond the 60 votes needed to tee up a final vote. The legislation would impose harsh new penalties on countries that purchase oil and other energy products from Russia, as well as extend existing sanctions against Iran, seeking to limit its ability to fuel its wartime economy. 11 Democrats voted against the measure because it also grants President Trump some new tariff powers. Joining us now, one of the co-leaders of that bill, Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut. He is a member of the Armed Services, Homeland Security, and Judiciary Committee. Senator, good to see you again. I know you and Senator Graham worked on this, for a very long time. I guess fitting in a way that on the day of his funeral, an important step was taken. Please tell us what's next and whether President Trump, who has been warmer to this of late, whether you think he'll go for it.
I think he will go for it because one of Senator Graham's last shining accomplishments was, in effect, to persuade President Trump that it is in his interest and our national interest to support Ukraine by imposing these crushing sanctions and tariffs on purchases of Russian oil and gas because they are fueling Russia's war machine. Yesterday was a real emotional roller coaster, the sadness of that funeral service saying farewell to our friend Lindsey Graham, but then the exhilaration of the Senate chamber's vote with President Zelensky in the gallery. What's next is that we will move on to the stages of approval that are required under the Senate procedures over the next few days, I hope, because we have such a solid coalition, a bipartisan majority that is a tribute not only to Senator Graham, but really to the Ukrainian people, because they have accomplished miraculous success on the battlefield in developing new technology. And President Zelensky, in the closed-door meeting we had with him before that vote, all of the senators were invited, and many of them, the majority attended, said to us, we need this bill, we need the sanctions, because it will help to throttle Putin's economy and bring him to the table. So what's next in the long run, I hope, are serious peace talks, but I think we should have no illusions that Putin is going to continue his slaughterous, murderous invasion, and that's why these sanctions can be very important.
And Zelensky certainly had a warmer meeting with President Trump yesterday than he had a year or so back. He also made an ask for Patriot missiles. What can you tell us as to what the administration might be willing to provide?
I think the administration has a greater willingness, but it is hamstrung by the shortage of many of the kinds of munitions that President Zelensky needs to defend against the aerial reign of terror with missiles and drones that every night imperil and kill his people. What he needs are interceptors for his Patriot system, PAC-3s. A lot of it is in short supply because of the Iran war. As we well know, the munitions are exhausted in many respects by that war. And so, very excitingly, what's happening now is that American companies like Lockheed and Raytheon are licensing the production of that kind of defensive war platforms to Ukraine so it can build its own defensive capability. But short term, it needs more help from the United States. I think there's more willingness to do it. But Ukraine right now, in drone technology, which is also used to defend against aerial attack, is doing its own production and its own development, so much so that it is helping our forces in Iran. It is sending not only the technology and the actual drones, but also people to train our forces in the use of them. So there is a real partnership developing that has enormous potential.
Certainly very encouraging. Senator, before you go, briefly on Iran. Last night, Iran struck first. After a few days of relative peace, launched a series of attacks. The United States responded. It seems like yet again we are nowhere near a permanent end to this conflict. What right now is top of mind for you in Iran?
What's top of mind for me is that we need to put a halt to the unlimited, unbridled discretion that the president seems to feel he has to wage this war. Congress has the power of the purse. He's coming to Congress for more money, literally tens, perhaps hundreds of billions of dollars more. And we need to exert our authority by saying no to the president, no more money on this reckless, illegal war that is killing our own servicemen and women, taking brave lives, inflicting more than 600 casualties on American forces. Our sons and daughters are put in harm's way without Congress even being asked to approve this war as required by the Constitution. It's more than just legalities. It's lives of Iranians as well as Americans, and it's our global economy, so we need to put a halt to it as best we can using the power of the purse.
Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut, thank you. I'm certain we will speak to you again soon.